insights made a huge difference to our business at Sainsbury's Bank. Okay, this is the only banking story you're going to get. You're going to get lots of toilet cleaner stories, but not very many banking. Sainsbury's is a supermarket chain in the UK. Okay, it's the biggest grocery store in the UK, or it was in those days. It's lost its position now. And they decided to launch financial services, retail financial services. So they went into a joint venture with a big bank, the Bank of Scotland, to work together to do this. And what the bank did was behave like a retail bank would behave. So they spent lots of money on advertising and direct mail. Why? Because you want to encourage people to come to your bank. So they spent lots of money on advertising. And they created a presence inside the supermarkets, which was this, the Sainsbury's Bank information point. Now, that, I'm sure, in a nice bank branch would look fine. It's okay, you know, not particularly good, but it's okay. Right? But imagine that in a supermarket. When was the last time you visited your information centre at your local supermarket? Have you ever visited the information centre at your local supermarket? Because I tell you, nobody visited that. It just wasn't working. Why? Also, think about a supermarket. Lots of colour, lots of products jumping off the shelf at you, fruit and vegetables, all sorts of things. And where in a corner? Grey. You know, it just wasn't even noticed by people. Why? Because we're still thinking as if this is a retail bank. But it's not. The other thing about it is, why are we spending all this money on advertising? Advertising is to encourage people to come to you instead of HSBC or whoever else, right? But our customers, there's 12 million regular Sainsbury's shoppers. Once a week, what are they going to do? They're going to walk into your door and say, hello Sainsbury's, I'm here. Okay, to buy bread and milk and whatever, but they're coming in the door. So at this point, Sainsbury's Bank realised we have a problem. And they brought in a large international consultancy to do some work for them. And these consultants came to a staggering conclusion. You need to market to people once they are already inside the supermarket. We said, thank you very much, that was well worth £1 million of you. But they were right, of course they were right. But unfortunately their solution wasn't, because their solution was still based on data and information. So their solution was, Sainsbury's is an upmarket supermarket with sophisticated people. So we'll have sophisticated products and we'll market them in the store. So what we'll do is we'll build a bank branch inside the store and we'll have nice carpets and nice desks and people will walk into the supermarket and go, look at that, isn't it fantastic? And they did. They used to walk into the supermarket and go, look at that, isn't it fantastic? Come on, let's do the milk. Ignored it completely. Why? Because we still didn't have that soft insight. We were still missing the thing that was making the difference to why they would buy financial services in a supermarket or why they would rather go to a retail bank. And when you got underneath it, what you realised, and it's back to this feelings thing, the key that turned Sainsbury's Bank transformation around, the thing that made us the difference was this. What mood are people in when they walk into the supermarket? It was as simple as that. Think of the frame of mind, think of the mood you are in when you walk into your supermarket, when you go to do the shopping. Are you in a good mood? Some people do nod actually, which I find very strange. But yeah, most people not in a great mood. What do you want to do? Get in and get out. You want to get in, you know what you want to buy, you want to get out. So if you're in a hurry and you want to get in and get out, the last thing you're going to do is come over here, sit down and spend 10 minutes having a conversation about my credit card while the ice cream is melting and the children are running away. And it's just not going to happen, is it? So we realised that we needed a different model. And that's a problem, because I'm working with a 300-year-old bank in the Bank of Scotland who have done 300 years' worth of success in banking. I've been in for 3 months, and I'm going to have to go to them and say, I think we want to do something different. A little bit of a problem. So what you do is you try something different, but you try it on a very small scale. So I just did it in 1 store, the new model. Then we went to 5 stores. When it's working, you go to 10 stores. And the new model was based on 2 principles. Number 1, we have got to simplify the products. These products need to be as easy to buy as groceries. If they require a lot of explanation, people aren't going to buy them. So we went for the most basic, simple personal loans, savings products, insurances, travel insurance, very simple, travel insurance, a family of 2 going to Europe for 2 weeks. It's this leaflet here, boom, in the trolley, and I go. As simple as that. And then when you get home, you can think a little bit more about it or whatever. Pet insurance was a huge one in the UK. Pet insurance. private healthcare for your cat. Really strange, but it's a big business. Big business. I never understood it until I did the work a few years ago in Malta. And I was in Malta, and while I was there for a week, my son's pet rabbit, he had a little rabbit, his rabbit cost me £300 in veterinary bills during the week while I was away. At that point, I understand now why people have pet insurance, believe me. I also now understand why they eat rabbits in Malta. But the point is, we had to change the model, and it had to really change dramatically. We had to get simpler products, was principle number one, and principle number two, that's no good. You've got to create impact around the store. You've got to be visible like grocery products are. So we changed the model to something like this. And what you can see here is this is simple personal loans being sold. You know, this is an island display next to the island. You've got around the checkout, in the bottom right, you've got the checkout there where you've got offer of the month going on that was on travel insurance. Then you had colour coding for each of the products at the different islands. So radically different. And that's why it really had to be sold very slowly, one store, then 5. Interesting results actually, because we started off at about break-even. I think we were making just over £2.6 million profit, I think. By the time that was in only 50 stores, 50 out of 500, so 10% of the stores, within 12 months, 14 months, I beg your pardon, the profit had gone from 2.6 million to 23 million pounds in only 14 months. And actually, you know, we dumbed down the product, if you listen to the back. We made the product worse, but actually we haven't. We listened to soft customer insight and we redesigned accordingly. So it's not always about adding the fancy extra bits. Sometimes it's about just reflecting the customer mood that bit more in terms of what you need to do. So that's the Sainsbury's Bank one. I want to add